Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video we will talk about the bar graph, the vocabulary as well as a sample example. So moving ahead with the types of bar graph, first is the vertical bar graph and the second may be the horizontal bar graph. If you don't know the difference between the horizontal bar graph and the vertical bar graph, so you can write it as only the bar graph, but you will not write it as chart. I hope you know it why we don't write it as chart, because in the bar graph as well as in the line graph they are provided on the x-axis and the y-axis, right? So we write it as graph, the process chart, development chart, right? So tabular chart, so those are the charts which are not in the form of x-axis and y-axis. So don't forget to write it as graph, right? So this is the vertical bar graph and this is the horizontal bar graph. This is for the specification. If you don't know it, it's okay for you, you can write this only, right? So moving ahead with the static and the dynamic data, I hope you have watched my previous videos. In that I have explained that what is the static data and the dynamic data. You can check them out as well because they are very helpful. And this, what we need to consider is, if the data is static, for example, you are provided with two bar graphs, one is for 2004 and the second is for 2008. So this will be considered as the static data because there is very less difference between both the years. You can consider the static data up to 0 to 4 years, right? If there is more difference between the years, for example, it is provided for 2000 and it is provided for 2010. There is a difference of 10 years, so you will consider it as dynamic data. Now, why we consider both of these datas? As in the static data, we do not show trends. And in the dynamic data, we need to show trends. This is basically for the line graph, right? But there is one more assumption that you need to keep in mind. If you are provided with the percentage in the bar graph, if you are provided with a percentage, right? The data is given in percentage, then only you will show trends. Percentage plus dynamic data is equal to trends. You can show trends in this. What are trends? Trends means increased or decreased dramatically or something like that, right? So these are called the trends. So if you are provided with the data which is dynamic as well as the units are in percentage, then only you will show trends. Otherwise you will not show trends. For example, you are provided with dynamic data and numbers are given, the units are numbers, then only you are not supposed to write trends. Fine. If you don't remember the difference between the both, try to attempt your bar graph in highest and lowest terms, right? Do not get confused that where I have to show the trends and where not. Be on the safe side, safest, right? Be on the safest side. Try to attempt your bar graph in highest and lowest proportion. You need to show the percentages. You will provide the data in the BPs, right? This is the percentage provided or something like that. So in this bar graph, you can show data in percentage, right? The consumption is 80%. You can simply write this, or you can use fractions. Now what are the fractions? For example, 25% you can call it as quarter, right? So these are the fractions. I have provided you with these fractions in the pie chart. As in the pie chart, we need to show the fractions only. We are not supposed to write any kind of percentage in the pie chart. So you can watch that video. I have provided the whole vocabulary in that. Line graph, bar graph and the pie chart are having same vocabulary, so you don't need to worry. You need to cram it once and you are done. Right? So moving on to the sample answer. So this is the sample answer. The question is calorie source for UK males at different life periods. So these are the sources of calorie: dairy, meat, pulses and vegetables. And different age groups are provided from 0 to 24, 25 to 49 and over 50. And the data is available in percentage. So we are not provided with the years, so we will go with the static data. Right? We will consider it as static data, and be on the safest side, we will use highest and the lowest words. So moving on to the sample answer. So this is the introduction. I have rephrased it. You need to write the introduction in 1 or 2 lines, right? The chart below shows the calories intake of UK males in 3 distinct age groups of 0 to 24, 25 to 49 and over 50 years old. Units are measured in percentage, right? You can add this to make it more effective. Moving on to the overall. Try to focus on the sentence formation, right? You need to make different sentences. Overall, it is clear that each age group has the clear favorite, which varies depending on the age. Clear favorite. As you can see here, that this age group is more likely to take dairy products, right? And this age group, people are more relied on meat, and in this, they rely on pulses for the nutrition, for the calories intake, right? So I have written it clear favorite, as these are the highest. We can observe them. There is no doubt we are able to recognize these things as these are the highest, right? So which varies depending upon age, that they are having different options. They rely on different options for the calories intake. However, this is the connector. Vegetables are consistently amongst the least popular regardless of age. Regardless of age means age doesn't matter, but the vegetables are least popular in every age group. You can see here vegetables. This is the least popular. Here it is least popular, and it is also least popular. Right? It has remained at the lowest in all the age categories. They don't prefer to eat vegetables. So you need to analyze the data properly, which is the highest and which is the lowest. I have just rephrased it, used the vocabulary words to make it more effective. Right? Moving on to the BPs. Dairy for the 0 to 24 age group was the highest source of calories. This is the highest source of calorie, dairy, right? Whilst, this is the connector, which can make your sentence formation very, very effective. The other categories each represented about 20%. Each category means the other 3 categories, that is meat, pulses and vegetable, showed almost 20%. But the dairy was the most popular or most preferred product for calories, right? Next, what it says, in the next age group, now we move on to this age group, dairy was around a quarter. You can see here, it is around a quarter. Quarter means 25%. So it is near about 25%. You can see here, right? And meat became the main source of calories. You can see here, this is the highest one in this category. Meat became the highest source of calories, that is near about 50. It is 50%. Reaching half of the total intake. Half of the total intake means it was 50%. So this is the vocabulary word. You can use these words. This is 50%, you can see here. right? Reaching half of the total intake. Pulses and vegetables reached 10% and 15% respectively. Respectively means pulses were 10% consumed and vegetables were consumed 15%. So we have used word respectively. Moving on to the second body paragraph, you need to divide or make the body paragraph systematically, right? Your first BP should not be too long and your second BP should not be too short. They must be of equal lines, right? You need to divide the data equally systematically. So, pulses in the final age group was 6-fold to over 60%. You can see here, pulses was about 3 folds. That is above 60%, right? I have written the highest one. Whereas, this is the connector to comparison, calories obtained from vegetables was 10%. What it means that this was the highest and this was the lowest one. You can see here, vegetables was nearly 10%. Half that of meat, and I have compared the meat as well. Half that of meat, it means meat was 20%. I have written this, whereas this and this was half of this. So this is the complex sentence I have made. Try to make these kind of sentences, right? And even slightly less than dairy. And even slightly less than dairy products. It is 20, it is less than that, and it is less than that. So I have compared all the 4 categories into one sentence, right? The 50 plus age group shows the most marked preference out of all the groups. What it means, most marked preference related to what? Related to pulses. They consumed the highest percentage of pulses. That is around 65%, I think. Right? So I have written this. It also confirmed the gradual decline in vegetable consumption as males become older. Right? You can see here, the vegetable consumption was almost 20% and then it declined to below 20 and then it becomes 10%. The consumption at the last age group is 10%. So it declined. Right? So I hope you have understood that how to attempt the bar graph. If you have any queries, please let me know in the comment section below. Please subscribe my channel if you are new. Thank you for watching my video.